I'm Ryan from FFAK, and you're watching HeartSupport. I'd say back in 2012 we recorded our first record with our label, Solid State. It was called Creation Destruction, and we've always done headliners in our hometown in Dallas and stuff, but that night it was like 400 or 500 people as opposed to the 20 that for years, like 6 years we had played there. And it had always been like 20, 30 people, typical, but there's 400 that night, and a bunch of people came up and were talking about the new record and stuff. And obviously we had just got signed and we'd been a local band, so this was a little odd to us, and people were saying like, this changed my life, or this helped me out, or watching you talk or something would help me out. And at the time I was being like pretty crappy, talking to a bunch of girls and flirting, stuff I shouldn't be doing. And talking to those kids, I realized I needed to be a role model, because whether I liked it or not, these kids, whether I thought I was worthy or not, that was probably the biggest thing. Is I would always shrug it off whenever somebody would tell me like I was a role model. I'd be like, no, I'm not. All right, next. And like over time I realized it doesn't really matter what I think. They're going to look up to me whether I think it's wrong or not, and I need to be something worth looking up to. So I battled with that a lot. And then in 2014, in October, I proposed to my now wife, because I had put aside all those crappy things, talking to girls and stuff, and I knew I was ready to be the role model I need to be. And I still, every day it's a struggle. Everybody has their struggles, but I'm still every day trying to be a better person, not just for me, but for the people that, whether I like it or not, look up to me. I need to be better for them. It puts a little pressure on, I'd say it almost gives motivation more than pressure. It really gives me something to strive for every day. And as the band grows, it almost is more motivation to be better, because now people will come up and talk about like, oh, you and your wife's relationship really gives me inspiration, or me and my girlfriend model our relationship after you guys, or what we've seen. And they talk about HeartSupport a lot, watching the interview me and her did. So I'd say it almost just, I get more motivation every day with the more fans take notice. And the bigger we get, the more people like focus in on what I'm doing or what my wife's doing, and it kind of just gives us more motivation to make every aspect of our life better, because we want to live up to these, I guess, expectations people have set for us. We don't want them to misunderstand it. We want them to be like seeing the real us, not just what they think they see. Sometimes I think I've seen people complain about band members. Oh, I saw him get drunk once, or I saw him that. And sometimes it's as simple as that. He got drunk once, he was with his friends or something. And I'm like, whether a person's in a band or a world famous actor or whatever, people are people. They're gonna make mistakes. And I think sometimes people hold celebrities or musicians or whatever to this standard of perfection, which no one on earth can ever obtain a standard of perfection. Try to remember when you were growing up, like any grievances you had, like if you had an absentee father or you had a mother that was an alcoholic, which is what my wife had, both of those issues growing up, and she uses that as her motivation. She's like, when we have kids, I don't want to be that. And so it's almost like, remember all the crappy things you didn't like about growing up and don't be those things. Like going back to that 2013 show, and I said I need to be a role model, it didn't happen immediately. I still did crappy things. It's like a lot of people when they're suffering with an addiction or with issues, they slip back to it so easily, but it's really all about making sure every day is another step towards it. And because I think when you look at things as a whole, it can be intimidating, and especially when you want to do it on your own without God's help, it can be extremely intimidating. Yeah. So it took like a year or so. Really, when I proposed to my wife, that's when I was like, I'm the person I need to be a good husband now. and that was the day I proposed. Which it involved, like, when I was flirting with other people and stuff, it involved me deleting all their numbers, not ever speaking to them again. Because I know a lot of people, they're like, well, I'm not flirting anymore, but they'll still talk.
Yeah.
So you're kind of keeping things in your life that you really... It's almost like saying you're an alcoholic, but you're around drinks constantly, and you'll have a sip every now and then. But I'm not drunk or anything. So sometimes it's better to separate yourself. Now, I feel zero temptation towards that or anything. So as long as every day you see it as like God can give you the strength to get through you through this day, and eventually it's just going to become you're the person who's not suffering from that anymore, and you can move on with your life, which I've been fortunate to be able to do. The way I've been looking at things now is I have an awesome job, and if I am not a role model for a day, then it means nobody cares about our band or what we're doing or our message. So I think just the fact that it's like I don't want a day off from people caring about what we're doing and stuff. So I'm down to deal with the hardships of it every day, because I would rather people, just like it doesn't matter if you're in a band or not, if you're a dad, I would never want a day where I'm not a role model to my child or something like that. So it's kind of like that.